clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and on today's episode of The Hypnotist, we're looking at body fat. Now, a lot of people, when they're trying to lose weight, are obsessed with the weight. But actually, what's way more important is the body fat percentage. It's the amount of body fat that your body is actually carrying. And a lot of people are too focused on weight. One of the things that I tell my clients when it comes to weight is that a kilo of body fat is just under 8,000 calories. I think it's about 7,700. A kilo of water weighs the same as a kilo of fat, but has 0 calories. So weight loss just for the sake of losing weight is not healthy, it's not desirable, but training your body to burn fat is very, very useful. Now, there are two ways in which you can look at fat loss. One is that you can force your body to burn fat by being in this calorie deficit. So there just simply isn't enough energy for your body to function, and your body needs to go into your fat reserves, where you're forcing your body to do that in the same way that if there was a famine, your body would be forced to use your fuel supplies in your body fat. Or you can look at it in a different way, and that is training your body to burn fat. And you can train your body to burn fat in a variety of different ways, but it really comes down to accessing this state known as ketosis, where your body actually sees your body fat as fuel. Now, in this particular hypnosis you're about to listen to, there are various suggestions about how to think of body fat and the actual cells of body fat, and it uses a metaphor of a sand timer, which will make sense when you actually listen to the session. So it's really, really good if you want to become leaner, more confident, reduce the amount of weight that you're carrying in body fat, and it just kind of opens up different ways in which you'll be able to do that. So great if you want to reduce that body fat percentage. I'd encourage you to buy a body fat monitor if you don't already, and you're looking to lose weight, because it's just so much more useful than only looking at weight in isolation. So find somewhere comfortable where you won't be disturbed, relax and enjoy.
And as you breathe in, I want you to imagine you're breathing in a sense of relaxation. Breathing in relaxation and breathing out tension. With each and every breath, just imagine that relaxation is being taken in through your lungs and pumped around to every single cell of your body. The deeper you breathe, the more relaxation you're breathing in. And the deeper you breathe out, the bigger the exhale, the more you will be releasing that tension, exhaling that tension so it leaves your body, enabling you to take deeper and deeper breaths of relaxation in the body. That's right. Sometimes it is useful to create a color that represents that relaxation. Maybe it's a warm color, a vibrant color. There's something about color that really activates a different hemisphere of your brain. Think back to when you were a child drawing pictures. You always use bright colors. The creative, non-logical part of your brain loves color. So I want you to imagine a bright color breathing in, a color that represents relaxation, peace, tranquility. And again, thinking back to when you were drawing as a child, anything that represented something bad or unwanted, unconsciously, even as a child, you would have used darker colors. Grays, blacks, browns. So as you imagine breathing out any tension, any anxiety, any stress, use those same colors you would have used as a child to represent something unwanted. Breathing in that vibrant, colorful color that represents relaxation, and breathing out a color that represents tension, stress, or anxiety. Perhaps you can think of a cartoon character that had this kind of overall sense of being down, stressed. They will use images like clouds, grey clouds over their head. These are the kind of colours best to really use the sensations you want leaving your body. Occasionally while I'm talking, your conscious mind will pick up on different sounds. Perhaps the sound of a ticking of a clock. Perhaps the sound of raindrops falling on the floor outside the window. Perhaps the sound of music being played in a different room, or even the sound of a bird or footsteps. In a strange and contradictory way, these sounds will do exactly what I need them to do, which is to distract your conscious mind. And occasionally it won't even be external sounds that distract your conscious mind. Occasionally it will be internal thoughts that come to your consciousness. Anything that you're thinking of in the moment is your consciousness. And the more distracted your conscious mind is, the better able I am to influence your subconscious mind. There is a part of your mind that you're not in control of. All those times that you blink and breathe, walk and move without thinking, is your unconscious mind in control. And is your unconscious mind that influences your appetite, your unconscious mind that regulates your metabolism, your unconscious mind that can trigger sensations that you label as hunger. Your unconscious mind regulates your hormones, neurotransmitters, all these things happening that really do change how you feel and how you think, but in a way that you're not aware of. And something that you're not normally aware of is what is happening inside the body. And I want you to imagine that you're now in a relaxing place. I want you to think of the most relaxing place that you've ever been at a time that relates to your childhood or teenage years. Maybe you can think back to a holiday, maybe a particular time where you just felt safe and cozy. And when you can think of such a memory of a place where you felt completely relaxed, just let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And then in that place, I want you to think of the most comfortable chair, bed, or sofa that you've ever been in. Even if it was just once, your unconscious mind will recall that sensation of the most relaxing place to ever lie, sit, or be in. And if you can think of that kind of piece of furniture right now, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to imagine that you're in that furniture, but in that place, a place where you felt protected, safe, secure, relaxed, in the most comfortable piece of furniture, a chair or sofa, a bed perhaps, that you've ever been in. And as you lie there, really feeling relaxed, breathing in that warm color of relaxation, breathing out any sensations of stress, anxiety, or tension, notice that you feel like you're sinking into that chair or sofa, going deeper and deeper relaxed with each and every breath. Because one of the things that many people have no appreciation of is what the body does in order to store fat or burn fat. As you imagine feeling deeply relaxed with each and every breath, I want you to imagine that there is a large, life-size sand timer in front of you, as big as a person. You can see the grains of sand at the top, and you can see through the glass that they are one by one falling to the base of the sand timer. And if you could imagine such a large sand timer in front of you, just let me know by nodding your head. And really pay attention to the grains of sand. The grains represent time. One thing going from one location to another location. And as you really look at those grains of sand going down from the top to the bottom, each time you notice a grain of sand hitting the bottom, you feel 1% deeper relaxed. And you experience that relaxation by releasing any tension around your neck or your shoulders, around your jaw, breathing easier and deeper, releasing tension in parts of your body you don't even realize there's tension, perhaps around the eyebrows, forehead, in the legs. As you watch those grains of sand, you go deeper and deeper relaxed. And I want you to think about those grains of sand going from the top to the bottom. That there is something in one location that moves to a different location, and I want you to imagine that your body has a similar process. Your body can turn sugar or energy, known as glycogen, into fat. If you have too much food that is too energy rich, your body will have too much sugar in your blood, known as glycogen. And too much glycogen in the blood is poisonous. You would get sick. You may know someone who has diabetes that if they have too much sugary food and don't have insulin to regulate that sugar, they would potentially get very sick or even die. Your body has the ability to convert excess energy into fat. And I want you to look at those grains of sand and think of each grain of sand being a cell. As you see the grains of sand fall from the top to the bottom, I want you to imagine that this sand timer represents cells that represent energy, such as sugar in the blood like glycogen, as they go from the top to the bottom, converting into fat cells. And this is a useful ability for a human to do, because hundreds of years ago there were not supermarkets, there wasn't a farming and food operation to ensure consistent food. Thousands of years ago, tribes of hunter-gatherers may not even know where their next meal is. Occasionally they would find a tree with lots of fruit and be able to have lots and lots of food all in one go. And as they eat the fruit, the blood fills with glycogen. And because there might be too much, the body has the ability to convert the excess energy into fat. And then, if there was a few weeks where there was no food at all, those bodies could use that fat as an emergency fuel tank, a store cupboard of energy. And as you look at the sands going from the top to the bottom of the sand timer, I want you to get a sensation that the body has the ability to convert energy into fat. And this will represent for you a period in your life where you're eating excess energy and storing fat. And I want you to think of that time. Think of the habits that you had back then, the foods that you were eating, the occasional binge that you went on, the emotional triggers that led you to eating excessive amounts of food rich in energy. Normally, things high in energy, those refined carbohydrates, things with lots of sugar in, even the choice of drinks. There was a time when you were training your body to store fat. And by recognizing what you did to create the fat, gives us a clue about what we can do to convert the fat back into usable energy again. I want you to imagine that as you imagined that period of time where you were storing fat, imagine those sands from the top to the bottom of the sand timer, all accumulated at the bottom. And then think back to those months ago where you made the decision to use that fat, to feed on that fat as an energy resource. And as you think about the specific moment that you made that decision to lose that excess fat, I want you to imagine turning the sand timer over. And as you do it, each grain of sand falling from the top to the bottom represents body fat turning into sugar in your blood, a process known as ketosis. Except this time, the sugar in the blood is called ketones. Your body feeds on those ketones as an energy source. Ketones is processed very similar to glycogen. It's a source of energy. I want you to think of all the things that you've been doing over these last few months with a sense of pride and accomplishment, raising your standards in what you eat, the choices that you've made that are different to the previous choices. As you see the grains of sand going from the top to the bottom, it represents you converting body fat cells into usable energy. I want you to think of every time that you've ever felt hungry and resisted the temptation to snack on something was also training your body to burn fat. Each grain of sand that goes from the top to the bottom is you converting body fat cells into usable energy. And if this makes sense to your unconscious mind, let me know by nodding your head. But I want you to imagine that there are different types of grains of sand. I want you to imagine in the top of this sand timer, there is sand that has been in this sand timer for years. And while it is still made up of grains of sand, I want you to imagine that it is in clumps. Just as snowflakes can be clumped together to make a snowball, I want you to imagine that the grains of sand can be clumped together to make sandballs. And while they are like that, the thin, fresh grains of sand can pass from the top to the bottom. But there are more established sand that has been in this sand timer for a long time that is now clumped together. And while it is clumped together, it becomes harder to pass through the top to the bottom of the sand timer. And the choices that you've made so far have been fantastic, and they fill you with a sense of pride that you are using those fresh body fat cells as a source of energy. But I want you to think that in order to break up those grains of sand that are stuck together, I want you to think that there are two main ways that you can train your body to be able to utilize those grains of sand. And the first is with activity. I want you to imagine that any time when you move your body creates motion with the cells. And I want you to try this by imagining getting up out of that chair and shaking the sand timer, because that activity would perhaps shake those grains of sand that are in clumps together and then break them up so they can actually pass from the top to the bottom of the sand timer, representing the transition from body fat to usable energy. And if your unconscious mind agrees that activity could be one of those things that could break down those body fat cells and make it usable for energy, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And I want you to think that there is another way that you can also do it. I want you to imagine that if you took the top of the sand timer off, you reached in and just started squeezing the grains of sand that are all clumped together, that very quickly they would break down into usable sand that is small enough to pass from the top to the bottom. Now, something that you could do is find a masseuse that does the type of massage that is, some would call, painful. A deep tissue, very intense massage would actually break down the body fat cells, the equivalent of breaking down those clumps of sand, which then makes it more recognizable for the body to see it and use it as usable energy. I want your brain to think of perhaps a change in the future. Because what if, over the next few weeks and months, you decided to introduce very manageable, easy things that day by day can form parts of habits that enable your body to be more active. Perhaps there's certain journeys that you normally use the car. Just entertain the idea of perhaps what would happen if certain journeys were walked instead of drove. Perhaps there's things that may be tucked away in a part of the house, a garage, a shed that aren't being used. Perhaps exercise equipment, perhaps even a bike. Things that suddenly you could dust off and use in a way to encourage your body to be more active. Perhaps there is certain times in the week that could enable you to do the occasional class. Or perhaps there's certain videos that you could watch on a TV, or equipment that you could use while watching TV. It could just mean that you're doing anything from a few minutes to an hour or even more of activity. And I want you to think that activity aligned with eating healthy, nutritious food trains your body to burn fat. Because there are two ways of losing fat. You can force your body to lose fat by starving your body, making you cranky, making your body crave energy. Or you can do what you're doing, which is train your body to burn fat. And the way that you train your body to burn fat is simply having nutritious, healthy foods, low in sugar, that mean your body's getting nutrients, but means that your body needs excess energy from your body fat cells. But just imagine that if you were active alongside that healthy diet, then perhaps it would be the case that more of those body fat cells can pass from the top of the sand timer down into the bottom part of the sand timer. Because these cells are energy. And the more energy you use, the more your body will need to use your stored energy for usable energy. If you had a packet of batteries and someone said that you had to use all the energy in those batteries, you would take action. You would do things with that energy, put them in devices, switch them on, use that power. And a body is no different. Your stored body fat cells are simply stored energy, much like a battery. And the more activity you do, the more you will use the energy in those stored batteries. And if that makes sense to your unconscious mind, let me know by nodding your head. That's right. And maybe as a result of doing more activity, maybe there are aching muscles. And what if perhaps once a week or every few weeks you went to see a masseuse, and that masseuse was giving you not a relaxing massage, but the kind of massage that would actually break down your body fat cells. The kind of massage that would actually invigorate, train your body to see cells that it hasn't seen in perhaps weeks, months, or years. That way you get the best of both worlds. You get to train your body to burn fat through activity. You get to train your body to burn fat through the dietary choices that you're making. And you get to release new types of body fat cells, making it recognizable to your body. There are some body fat cells that are under an invisibility cloak. And nutrition alone will not be enough for your body to recognize them as a source of energy. I want you to imagine that if you had a hidden room in your kitchen that was filled with food, even if people were hungry, if they didn't know that room existed, they would not be able to use that energy. As you increase your activity levels, and as you change the composition of your body fat cells, that's lifting the invisibility cloak. It's making that energy suddenly available. And what you will find is because activity, massage, movement releases and recognizes more of those body fat cells, you will feel with more energy after activity, after motion, after a massage. You will have more energy than before. Not because of any food that you've consumed, simply that you've unlocked the door to hidden energy reserves within your own body. We will sow a few seeds that will form new beliefs in your unconscious mind. Body fat is stored energy much like a battery. The more energy you use, the more of your batteries you will utilize. The more body fat you utilize, the slimmer you will become. Activity increases your metabolic rate. It's not just that you use the energy stored in your body fat cells. The more energy that you use in activity, the more that your metabolism increases. There will be a weird thing that when you do more activity, you will have more energy by releasing the energy in your body fat, but also by spring cleaning your cells, awakening your body's ability to use energy efficiently. The third seed that we will sow deep in your unconscious mind is that you can lose weight and enjoy the process. You won't choose activity or exercise that is painful, You will choose activities that are fun, that you enjoy, that make you feel good. Because what most people don't know about activity and exercise is that it releases the pleasure hormones inside the brain. Dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, all these things that make us feel wonderful are released by doing the very things that will break down body fat cells. Having a deep tissue massage will make you feel great while training your body to burn fat. Being active with your body will encourage your body to burn fat and fire off these feel-good drugs inside your own brain. The more you do, the more you will want to do. The healthier you will become, the more energy you will have. You will lose weight and enjoy the process. Your creative part of your brain will look for opportunities, for simple hacks and tricks, things that you can incorporate into your life. Wherever possible, you will take the stairs instead of an escalator or a lift. Wherever possible, you will walk rather than take the car. Wherever possible, rather than simply waiting, staying still in a location. Let's say you're 10 minutes early to meet someone, you might take a little 10-minute walk around. And all this is inconsequential until you look at what happens over a year. In a day of taking the stairs instead of an escalator, nothing happens. But a year of that just being your habit will train your body to burn fat. A year of taking opportunities to walk rather than drive will transform completely your muscle tone, increase your metabolic rate. And what about those TV shows that occasionally you watch? What if you were doing that while exercising your body? Your unconscious mind already knows how to go into trance when watching TV. You already know what time distortion is like. So what if you could do 50 minutes of exercise and it only feels like 5 minutes because your brain is in a different place? These ideas have gone deep into your unconscious mind. And very soon I'm going to count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will awaken full of resourcefulness, energy, with new ideas and strategies about how you will train your body to burn even more fat, particularly the fat that is not so recent. You will lose fat and enjoy the process. You will look for opportunities to be more active, not because you have to, but because you want to. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.